For me personally, because I play the drums, a lot of people introduced me to West African drumming and different cultural styles of drumming throughout Africa. When I was younger, they're like, well, you might also want to check out this and that, and so I started listening to different things. I'm definitely, myself, pretty bored with playing drums in a normal, I think, like, drums are some of the most reductive instruments in most rock bands, where it's just like boom, fa, boom, fa, boom, fa, especially with what was going on in New York prior to us starting that, and I kind of vowed I would never play that way, and then finding people who were also interested in doing something different.
My experience with what? With African music? My sister lives in India, and anytime I go over there, I would watch Bollywood music videos, and I was interested in the way that they would filter, Western pop music, and then also incorporate Indian traditional music, and just the way they would try to imitate pop music and couldn't quite pull it off without it being a little bit Indian as well, And then we were listening to lots of Thomas Mafuno, and I was watching the Graceland DVD over and over and over again, just trying to include as many influences as possible and as many weird scales and modes as we could, not sticking with anything that people were doing at the time, not doing any kind of bluesy thing or any garage rock thing. It's all right. It's all right.
I think we're of a generation that has been exposed to a lot easier in a lot easier of a way than most generations. I was thinking about it the other day and thought about it before, kind of cyclically. It comes back in my head a bunch of times, but it's strange to me that our age group is the last age group that's going to know all those songs in the 50s that my dad listened to or whatever, that was pop music back then. We're the last generation that's going to be able to sing all those songs, because even, people that are 10 years, 15 years younger than me, they're never going to hear that. U2 is on the oldies station for those guys, And it moves so fast now because information is, there's so much information and it's at everybody's fingertips and it's so fast. So I think if you're just of the mind that you really want to explore different things musically, you don't want to be limited in just pentatonic scales and playing blues and rock and jazz and going on. It's fairly easy to explore outside of your comfort zone. I mean, we're from Northeast America, and we have we've been exposed to a lot of things besides, I'm from Philly. I've been exposed to a lot of stuff besides the Philly sound.
We've taken a lot of influences from this pop music that the people who are reviewing our record completely dismiss, as drivel. And so they wouldn't know that we're just ripping off the Neptunes or that we're ripping off Timbaland, and some Aaliyah song that came out 6 years ago, because we're incorporating that in a rock band that sings vocal harmonies, And it's like, oh, you must be pulling from. We must be listening to Peter Gabriel and stuff like. I didn't own one Peter Gabriel record when we, I was like, I should get some. Also, I think a lot of it is kind of a creation by the media. They're just like, okay, you have Dirty Projectors who kind of noodle around on the guitar. And then you have Vampire Weekend, who they call their songs Kwasa Kwasa or Cape Town or whatever. And then you have us, and we have maybe one or two songs that are kind of obviously very African. But I think, the way we kind of wrote a lot of the songs was just experimenting with rhythms, really not even listening to, not just coming out of nowhere, just saying, oh, instead of playing a snare there, why don't we just play these tablas that are sitting in my basement, or why don't we play those bongos or something. And then once you start playing around with rhythms, it's not just people don't envision someone behind a drum kit anymore, playing in a basement, in a garage or whatever, in a rock band. And then you say, oh, well, if it's not a rock band, then it has to be world music. So let's sing.
For us, and the reason we made that decision is not so much to be like, let's make an Afro-pop record tinged with all these other things, but let's make a record where we don't say no to any particular style.
my whole record collection has expanded after like reading what people compare us to. It's like I have so much more Eno and Peter Gabriel. Like I never had any of that stuff.